What's going on, everybody? Forest Park family. Preston Waller here, student pastor. We're going to do something very fun, very exciting, very different today for this video. We are going to be taking some commonly used youth slang of today's culture, and me and some other people are going to be guessing exactly what that word or that phrase means, and we're going to be having a point system, so whoever gets the most points will win at the end. But we'll switch it up at the end, and you'll see a little bit about how we're going to do it differently. But I want to go ahead and introduce everyone to you today. As you know, my name is Preston. I am 25 years old. I was born in 1994, so that makes me a millennial, and I will now let the other people introduce themselves to you.
I'm Chloe. I'm 16. I was born in 2004, and I guess that makes me is it the Gen Z?
Yeah, I think that's Gen Z.
Name's Jason Futrell. Will be 45 in May.
Nice.
So kind of started high school in 1990, so I might have some 80 slangs and a little bit of 90 slangs in there.
Okay, so the first word is T. How would you use that? Like in a sentence? And like what
or
does
how
it
would
mean?
you define it, yeah.
Like what do you think T means?
While they're writing, how do you think they're going to do? Jason, right?
Yes.
How do you think you're going to
Not too good on this one.
Preston, how are you feeling?
I'll do a lot better at this one than I will when we switch it rolls around. I'll struggle a little bit on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. No, I know this one. So tea is just basically like gossip, like drama, like when you spill the tea, you're spilling all the gossip that people are talking about.
Okay, so you can.
I had no clue, so I weren't even going to guess. So mine just tea means iced tea sweet in my book.
That's right. And it
Okay,
does.
so Preston gets a point for that.
It does though.
Okay, the next word we have is a clap back. Clap back. I don't even know how you would use that in a sentence. But I don't know why I think this is so funny. I'm about to cry.
Alright. So,
Let Jason go
let's
first.
have you Jason go first.
Yeah, I had no clue on this one either, so I'm not going to make a guess. I just put, you give me a clap, I will give you a clap back.
All right,
Hey.
Preston.
So clap back is when you respond to someone's diss by giving them a diss back. So if someone's like roasting or like making fun of you, you respond with making fun of them in return.
Yeah, it's like another word for a comeback. So
Yeah, like a comeback. That'd be a good way to.
I don't know. I really like Jason's answer, but Preston gets a point.
There we go. Clap back.
Okay. The next one is hop off. So if you tell somebody to hop off, what are you saying?
Good. I think hop off means like leave it or me alone. So
Leave me alone.
that's good.
I'll give you both a point for that one.
Good.
Yeah, it's like mind your business kind of thing.
Yeah.
The next word is slaps.
High five, good job. Slaps.
Okay, it's like goes hard or it's awesome. So like if a music or a song slaps, it's an awesome song, or it goes hard, like it's something to vibe to.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is yeet. I can't even say it correctly, but it's Y-E-E-T. Oh no. Oh no.
It's an acronym.
Oh my god.
Writing an essay. Okay. All right, I think I go first.
What did you say?
Yeet is a verb. Is what it kind of is. It means to throw something violently.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Oh god.
It shows what you.
I didn't have a clue. I just Chloe had Taco Bell and yeet her pants. Messed up. This is what I thought it meant.
It's close. I would see how
Oh
that.
my God.
I could see how that would. Someone would think that. That's not too
Yes.
far off.
I'm dying over here. Oh my gosh.
Was that it?
No, there's
Oh,
still more.
okay.
Quaking.
I cut my fingernails too short. I am quaking.
Quaking.
Okay.
Hurting.
Hurting. Okay.
Okay, I don't think any of y'all got that
I
one.
put shaking or nervous,
Nope.
so I don't know what that
So
is.
quaking is like when you see
Good morning, Forest Park. My name is Lana Neal, and I'll be your host this morning. If you're new with us today, we want to say a very special welcome. We would love to connect with you. Take a moment right now and fill out our virtual Connect card by going to fplive.org/connect. That way you can know everything that's happening here at Forest Park. In just a moment, we'll continue with a new video from our FPC worship team. But before we do, would you help us by sharing this stream? Inviting people to church has never been easier. So take a second to share this with your friends and family. Just click the share button below. On June 14th from 4 to 7, we are excited for our next student ministry to have their first outside event. This is an opportunity for our 6th through 12th grade students to kick back, relax, enjoy some great time together. There'll be games and food and so much more things to enjoy. Follow our next page on Instagram and also their brand new Facebook page. As we continue to serve our community, I want to take a second and encourage you. Our church has stepped up and persevered through this pandemic. Our mission to reach, love, and teach people, it's never been more important. And because of that, we need your support financially. Everything that we do to make an impact is funded by you, and we need your help. You can give now by mailing in your offering to 300 Forest Park Road, or you can give online right now by going to fplive.org/giving. We make it easy and simple for you to give in just a couple of minutes. If you haven't yet, consider giving automated. You can find everything you need again at fplive.org/giving. And please be as generous as possible, especially during this time. Thank you.
What's going on, everyone? We want to take a couple minutes to talk with Bill about the behind the song aspects of his song off his EP, More Than Enough. It's a great song, one of my favorites off the EP, and we want to get his perspective on what it's truly saying and some of the great how it came to be aspects of the song. So Bill's joining me now, obviously the artist, the singer, all the shabam about the song. Love it. I love the message of it. So when we're talking about the song More Than Enough, talk to me a little bit about how that came to be. Like what's the heart behind the song? You know, was there something in your life going on at that time? What kind of made you write the lyrics that you're writing in it?
So that was it was the last song that was written for the EP. Mm-hmm. And it was the one that I was not quite sure was even going to make it, and then I just kind of had a breakthrough with it one day. But right. It's like a lot of the songs that I sing. I feel like more often than not, the best thing that I can do to help people is to put words into their mouths that they need to be saying, so that they can start to believe it and process it in their lives. And that message of that I'm more than enough, like there's you need to say it so many times sometimes before you actually believe it, because that's one of the hardest things. Yeah. When there's so many pressures in life and things like that. But I think that putting those words into their mouths and giving them an opportunity to say it, that's the first step toward the path of believing it. Right.
Absolutely. That's great, and it's a great message for all of us to hear at any point in our life, really. So when we talk about those pressures that you alluded to that people are facing, whether it's an indirect pressure that we kind of put on ourselves or actual real pressure that society puts on us, what are some of those concrete, give us some examples of what you mean by those pressures? Like, what does that look like that society puts on us that makes us feel like we're not more than enough?
Right, so I think it starts, and I'll kind of anchor it to some lyrics right at the beginning, stuck inside a picture of what I think I should be. And that makes me think immediately about social media,
right.
Because that's exactly where that comes from. People go to social media and then they latch onto that and they think, all right, I see all these common themes and I need to be this, I need to be more like this, I need to be more like her, be more like him. So then it continues in a universal mold, the world made just for me. So it's almost like a little sarcasm dropped in there. Yeah. Because it's a universal mold is made for everybody, and it's like one size fits none, And so I think social media is a good example of it. But at the same time, while Facebook, gets piled on for some of the things that they might not do so well, social media has also been a really good tool for us, especially during the quarantine, because we needed ways to stay connected, and it definitely gave us a good one to do that. Good.
Awesome. I love those examples, that I think about Instagram and Facebook and how those pressures come from there, but it's also a double-edged sword. There's great parts of social media that help us, especially as an artist like yourself, trying to get connected with your fan base. So last question really quick, when we talk about taking away a message, like if a person listens to more than enough for the first time, other than the obvious answer, which is, I want you to feel like you're more than enough in God's eyes, which is the whole heart behind the song,
what's one thing you're hoping somebody who's listening to the song takes away? An application point, a message, other than what obviously is found in the title of the song? What would you say is something you want them to understand more?
That's a good question. So I think for that, I would just probably jump right at some of the last lyrics of the song when it kind of breaks down for a second. And the lyric says, "And of all the lies the world and I could tell myself, I know the worst is that you'd turn your back and ever let me go." Because that is the whole point. Like, it goes part and parcel with understanding and accepting for your life that you're more than enough. Because for you to believe that, you also need to believe that God will never turn his back on you. He will never stop pursuing and chasing you. And I think that's probably the best under the radar message to go along with the main one.
Yeah, and I love it, and it goes along with Romans 5:8, it says, while we were yet sinners, God still died for us. The whole idea of even while we were turning our back on God, he never turned his back on us. And I love that message too. Well, I'm hoping this, guys, gives you a little bit of insight on the song. As I said at the beginning, I love this song. I know you're gonna love the video. It's great, and we can't wait to see how it impacts your life and helps you grow closer to God and all that it does.
Stuck inside a picture of what I think I should be, in a universal mold the world made just for me. And I'm trying to fit just a little bit. I'm in no condition now to try and stand up tall. I got no one else to blame, I guess I earned it all. Got a lot of regret, got a lot of shame. But when everything that I have got won't get me very far, that's when everything that I am not meets everything you are. And I am more than enough. I am more than enough. Sometimes I get caught up on the outside looking in. I build up my own walls and wait for you to let me in. I don't know why, guess it's easy to hide. But you just cut right through my pain and give me one more taste of your free and perfect, never ever ending grace. I've had it before, I just needed more, more, more. 'Cause when everything that I have got won't get me very far, that's when everything that I am not meets everything you are. And I am more than enough. I am more than enough. And of all the lies the world and I could tell myself, I know the worst is that you turn your back and ever let me go. 'Cause I'm more than enough. I am more than enough. I am more than enough.
What an awesome song. Let us know what you thought in the comments right below. So let's get ready as Scott comes to bring part 3 of our series, Sorry.
This is part 3 of our series, Sorry, Learning How to Forgive. We kicked off this series 2 weeks ago by giving you a bird's eye view of forgiveness by asking and answering the question, does forgiveness matter? Yes, it does. And I gave you 3 huge reasons. Number 1, it is at the heart of our Christian faith. Remove forgiveness and our faith dies. Number 2, it works in the real world. It is not merely an emotion. It affects the nitty-gritty of everyday life. And number 3, it ends the cycle of revenge. It has the power to stop violence. Then last week, we broke the subject down into much smaller pieces by spinning forgiveness around and looking at it from a different angle. We considered forgiveness from the angle of what to do when you need to seek forgiveness. How do we go about that? And to even break it down further, how do we go about stepping up onto the first rung in the forgiveness ladder, saying, I'm sorry? I gave you some useful advice, and I'm hopeful each of you were able to put at least part of it into practice this past week. Now you might say, Scott, why is this important? Well, for those of us who follow Jesus, here's what he said, and it's recorded for us in Matthew chapter 5. This comes from the 5th chapter of Matthew, verses 23 and 24. Jesus said, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift at the altar and go. First make things right with your brother or sister and then come back and offer your gift. Jesus calls us to make it right with people, the person we've hurt or wounded, so much so we are to quit singing, quit praying, quit listening to sermons until we make it right. According to Jesus, apologizing is high on a priority list, so we want to do it the right way. And last week, we walked through 5 ways to ruin an apology. Well, what now? Let's go a little further this week, because saying I'm sorry is only the first step. There is much more to being sorry, genuinely sorry, than mouthing the words, I'm sorry. It's why so many relationships never heal from wounds. It's why so many husbands and wives remain at odds. It's why so many kids are estranged from parents. It's why so many friendships break apart. A rift was created, a trust was broken, a fracture in the relationship happened, and the guilty party apologized, but the relationship was never repaired. And it remains broken because the people in the relationship never took the steps beyond saying, I'm sorry. Basically, the guilty party thinks, I said I'm sorry, can we move on? Or I apologize, what else do you want from me? And that's just it. The wounded person requires a lot more to be healed than I'm sorry. And that's what I want to talk with you about today. What is the a lot more? In other words, what is required to mend, heal, restore, fix a broken relationship? Here's the big idea. To heal a broken relationship, the one who violated the relationship must move beyond owning the violation, I'm sorry, and identify with the pain he or she caused and accept the results of the violation and provide whatever is necessary for the wounded person to heal. Now you might say, this sounds really serious, Scott. It is. Well, Scott, how far must I go? I mean, can't I just say, I'm sorry, maybe cry a little and move on? I mean, how long do we have to drag out an apology? Well, here's 3 questions to ask to determine that. Number 1, how valuable is the relationship? Is this someone you barely know, someone you just met yesterday afternoon, or is this someone you've loved for years? Number 2, how much pain did you cause? Did you step on their toe, or did you crush their heart? And number 3, what do you want this relationship to look like in 5 years? Did you forget to leave a tip and probably won't see this person again? Or is this your mother you're talking about? I mean, if you barely know the person or won't ever interact with him or her again, or forgot to leave a tip or accidentally stepped on a toe, say you're sorry, tip extra next time, and let it go. But if this is a person you have a deep, intimate relationship with, hurt him or her greatly, and desire a healthy, vibrant relationship for years to come, do whatever you must do for as long as you must do it to repair, restore, and rebuild what was lost. So for the next few minutes, I want to walk you through 5 steps you take after you say, I'm sorry. These are simple, but profound. This is what you do when you want to rebuild a relationship. Step 1, own what you did wrong. Unfortunately, a lot of our apologies sound similar to this. I'm sorry you had such a difficult time with what I said. I never meant to hurt you. I did the best I could. So whatever I did wrong, I'm sorry. And when we apologize this way, here's what we're truly saying. Wow, you are more fragile than I thought. That's the real problem here. I'm really a good person. I didn't do anything wrong. What more can I say? To be honest, I'm not even sure what I did wrong. But obviously I did something because you're bothered, so I'm sorry. Can we move on? This is not an apology. The first step after you say I'm sorry is to own what you did wrong. You must step into the other person's shoes and say, I was wrong. I hurt you. I lied to you. I disrespected you. I didn't listen to you. I was wrong. After you say, I'm sorry, shut up. Do not point out the other person's wrong. Even if you were 95% wrong and the other person was 5% wrong, forget about the 5%. Focus on the 95. This is about you apologizing for what you did wrong. Do not blame the other person. Do not shift part of the blame onto the other person. Leave what they did alone. We have a national example of this going on across our nation right now. And I'm especially speaking to every white person listening to this message. For hundreds of years, we as a people were wrong. We enslaved, hurt, abused, maligned, ridiculed, stepped over, stepped on, and killed beautiful black men and women, boys and girls. And we continue to have racism across our nation. It is embedded within our systems. And our black brothers and sisters are tired of it. They are sick of it. They are exhausted from trying to change it, and they have called us out. And you know what we should say? We're sorry. We are deeply, deeply, deeply sorry. We are wrong. Many of our nation's leaders are wrong. Many of our judges are wrong. Many of our police officers are wrong. We were sinful. We were evil. We were wrong. And then shut up. Don't say another word. Don't bring up all the other issues and try to point out how they should change and what they ought to do. Listen, listen, listen. This is how we white people begin to sincerely, genuinely, authentically apologize and begin to rebuild what we destroyed. Step 2, release all expectations. After you say, I'm sorry, do not hang on waiting for the other person to tear up or give you a big hug or say, it's okay, thank you for apologizing. Have no expectations. Remember, this is not about you. It is about you apologizing for the wrong you did. That's it. Nothing else. Do not expect them to feel warmth toward you, physically embrace you, own their part of the issue, minimize what you did, or receive you back into their circle. Release them of all expectations. This is going to be difficult for some of you because you want to be rewarded for apologizing. Some of you think you are an amazing hero because you said, I'm sorry. And you think after you say, I'm sorry, your wife or husband or boyfriend ought to just think you're wonderful and embrace you and let it all be forgotten. That's not how it works. Returning to racism here. We white people should have zero expectations as to how our black brothers and sisters should respond to our apology. We say we're sorry for how they've been treated. We apologize for generations of hatred, bigotry, and white supremacy. They might look at us at the end and say, thank you. And that's all. That's okay. Drop any and all expectations. It is about their pain, their hurt, their wounds, not ours. Step 3, express a sincere desire for continued relationship. After you apologize, let the person know you value the relationship and you want to restore connection with him or her. The goal is not to get the other person to accept your apology. It's not about you. Make sure you never forget that. The goal is to heal the relationship, to rebuild the trust, to reestablish the connection. So to the best of your ability, express your desire for the relationship to be repaired, and your apology is one step in the process. Say something like this: I was wrong, I'm sorry, I want this relationship to be repaired. I value you as a friend, and I will wait as long as I need to wait for you. Please forgive me. Step 4, keep the apology brief. The reason I say that is because we often want to drag out the apology with lots and lots of words. We repeat ourselves. We say things that have nothing to do with what we did wrong. Honestly, we're fishing. We want to try to heal everything in 15 minutes. We want the other person to forgive us on the spot. We just want everything to get back to the way it was. Apologize, be sincere, be clear, be finished. Step 5, leave the person alone to process what you've said. Once you apologize, the person you've hurt needs time to process what you've said. They need time to evaluate whether or not they can forgive, should forgive. What does forgiveness look like? What will it mean? How can they trust you again? And they cannot process all of that with you staring at them, waiting for an answer. Typically, we apologize in the morning, and then before lunch, we want to know, well, did you forgive me? And then we check back that afternoon, and then the next day, and then the next day. Stop it. If you value the relationship, if you want to have a thriving connection with this person, then give him or her time to think through what you said and how is the best way to respond. If the person forgives, awesome. If the person can't, then continue to leave them alone and let them heal on their own time. You cannot rush healing. All right, to summarize part 3, saying I'm sorry is the first step toward receiving forgiveness. After you apologize, own what you did wrong, what you did wrong. 2, release the person from all expectations. 3, express a sincere desire for a continued relationship. 4, keep your apology brief, sincere, clear, and brief. Let it go. Number 5, leave the person alone to process all you've said. If you follow these steps, you will be a much better person in a position to not only receive forgiveness, but to repair the damage you caused in the relationship. Okay, who's the person you need to apologize to right now? Be honest. Who have you hurt? What relationship is damaged because of you? Let's pray. Father, as we close this part of the series out, we are faced with some pretty tough questions. We've got to find out what's true about some of the pain we've caused other people, the wounds that we've inflicted on others, the conversations we need to have to move us toward healing. Some of us have been in relationships and we've said we're sorry and we think that's it. God, open our eyes to see that simply saying I'm sorry is only the first step. There's some repairs that have to happen. There's some conversations that need to happen. There's some maybe letters we need to write, emails we need to send, maybe a conversation over a cup of coffee or over a meal we need to have. Father, we need to really move beyond simply saying we're sorry and move toward repairing and rebuilding and restoring the relationships we've damaged. Speak into our lives. Bring the faces and the names of people to us that we've hurt, we've wounded. And Father, if we got to walk out of church, stop listening to sermons, stop listening to worship music, whatever we do that we consider religious duties, let it all stop until we go and repair these relationships. Speak into our lives and change us and heal the relationships around us. We ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. On most Sundays following our online experience, Lan and I greet you live and spend a few minutes together discussing the message and life in general. Today we want to take this opportunity to talk with you about our reopening plans. No one is more excited about Forest Park reopening than Lana and me. We cannot wait to see you walk through our doors, hang out with you in the lobby, sing with you in the auditorium, and learn and grow together. And I know you're excited too. These last few months have been challenging, not only for Forest Park, but for churches across our community, our nation, and even around our world. The leadership of Forest Park is doing everything possible to ensure you are safe when you arrive back on our campus. So we've chosen to continue to offer online services only for a few more weeks. We don't want to rush coming back into large gatherings and compromising anyone's health. We want you to be loved, served, and cared for, not rushed together back into a physical location. We know how to conduct services. We've done it for years. What we're learning is how to minimize the spread of coronavirus. So here's our plan, and Lana's going to explain a little bit of that.
We will reopen on Sunday, July 5th. That will be our first Sunday back here at Forest Park. And here are a few details that we want you to be aware of when you get here. We will offer 2 Sunday morning services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Each service will last between 45 and 55 minutes. We chose to trim our service under 1 hour for 2 reasons. Most likely, we will have children in our services, and we are considering the challenge parents are going to have keeping their kids engaged. We're shortening the service to assist them. In between services, we will clean all surfaces, including our bathrooms, our chairs in the auditorium. We need to provide as much time as possible to clean thoroughly. Parents, Kid Venture will not be open until the threat of coronavirus is lessened. However, our team is going to create Kid Venture activity kits to help kids stay busy during the worship experience. We're going to ask our families to sit together in the auditorium.
We recommend our vulnerable populations continue to enjoy FPC online until the threat of the coronavirus spread is lessened. You are strongly encouraged to wear your own face mask. However, we will have face masks available if you don't have one. Our staff and volunteers will wear a face mask when appropriate to assist with protecting you.
And Muddy's will be serving coffee in our lobby. We are so excited about that. So you're welcome to arrive a few minutes early, get your coffee, and take some advantage of how great that is.
In order to maintain physical distancing, auditorium chairs have been arranged in rows of 2, 3, 4, and 6 seats. First impression greeters will seat families and individuals in the appropriate row, beginning from the front all the way to the back. When you arrive onto our campus, you will notice that we have a contact-free experience to offer you and your family. We will not pass offering plates. Giving boxes will be available in locations positioned at the auditorium exits. We will also offer a digital New Here card, and we will not distribute any printed material. One more thing. We are all excited to see and talk with people we love and haven't seen in months. Following each worship experience, we ask people to reconnect as quickly as they can outdoors. We ask you not to gather in the auditorium aisles or the lobby so we can maintain safe distances.
And again, we will reopen on Sunday, July 5th, offering 2 worship services at 9 and 11. Children are welcome to attend the service in the auditorium with their parents and enjoy that worship experience. But we also have an online worship experience that you're going to continue to be able to watch at home. We're going to do our best to have a contact-free experience for you and your family.
We love you, Forest Park. We are in this together. We will get through it, and we'll be stronger than ever. We can't wait to return and enjoy this place together.